All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fantasy fishing preview. Tonight, we got the whole crew back online, and we're going to be diving into Lake Seminole this week. We do have Mr. Wes Logan that's going to join us here in a little bit to give us a little snippet on the inside look of what Lake Seminole is looking like this week. But boys, last week, Lake Okeechobee, we're turning right around back-to-back weeks. Of course, we got Mr. Boomer from Alpha Angler joining us again, and Mr. Brennan Chapman from Do It Molds, along as we have the Serious Angler crew up here above. Fellas, any comments, thoughts, feedback on Lake Okeechobee last week for the elite event?
Yeah, I got some feedback. It's all negative. It was terrible. That was without a doubt the worst fantasy outing I've ever had in my life. Like, bar none. Terrible.
Welcome to the group, buddy. It happens to us all.
Yeah. I'll blame it on Florida fishing and bad conditions, and I'll just hang it up there and not make any more excuses. But it was bad.
I will also say that it was the worst fantasy week of my entire life.
Yes.
But for different reasons.
Yes.
All right, we're going to throw it out there just so that everybody can start making fun of me because it's rightfully so. So last week, we were going through the picks. And I had my picks set for the live stream, and I took them off so you guys didn't have to see my lineup. Well, dummy me was excited for live, and obviously I was traveling for a tournament last week and never put my picks back up. So what surprise did I get when I loaded up my fantasy fishing on day one of the tournament to see how my picks were doing when I saw I was in 25,400 something place with 0 percentile. And I was like, wait, what? Like, are all my guys sucking that bad? And I see no picks. Yeah, you idiot. You forgot to add your picks back. So here we are. Yes, I also still beat Ronnie Moore, even with my no picks.
Just by proxy, you beat Ronnie Moore.
That's like the 100% version of fantasy fishing by faith. Like you were just hoping.
That's right. I was hoping nobody would catch him. Nobody would catch him. Pick of the year, boys.
I like it.
4 days of weather cancellations. That's what I call it.
Love it.
But Andy, Deke, any comments on last week's event on Okeechobee?
All I have to say is when I watched Steve Kennedy crack that first big one on a frog on like an instant replay, I was like, okay, ready to go pick up my boat and get it in the water and go fishing. I'm ready to go throw a frog. Like I'm already juiced up for like July. Bring it on. You're in the north.
Heck yeah. That was entertaining.
Dude, yeah, I mean it was incredible to watch Tyler Rivette find something on his own, man. I mean, I watched a bunch of live this weekend, and I always feel so bad for Steve Kennedy on like just something happening when he's like feel like he's robbed sometimes from W's. But watching Rivette, I mean, just playing the forward-facing game with a jerkbait on fish that he had all to himself. And it was just incredible to me. A big takeaway that I saw too on the final day, the amount of freaking local pressure on those poor guys was ridiculous, man. I get it. Everyone has their own tournament going on. But man, it seemed crowded. I mean, like when the cameraman's panning and guys are catching 7 and 8 pounders, it was like, oh, that's so crushing to these guys that are struggling right now.
I'll add another note in there real fast, Adam. When you get live bait around you and you're fishing artificial, it is next to impossible to get them to bite artificial. It happens all the time on Lake Erie when other guys will like drag crabs and shiners. Your artificial bite just goes away. Like they just hone right into the real stuff. And you're just like, all right, we got to move. We're out of here.
I will say I experienced the opposite of that. I was fun fishing a lake down here in Florida last week. And there was a guy live shiner fishing. They were like trolling with the bobbers with shiners behind. And dude, I tell you not, like I couldn't find a good bite on the lake until I saw them blowing up on their shiners. And this dude straight up like bird dogged them for me. I just started casting well behind his line and started catching them. Like, yeah, the dude just showed me where they were.
He was trolling, so he was moving around. I'm talking about when they're like stationary, just like sitting in an area and they're around you. They get so keyed in on our like the live bait side that they won't even bite it like artificial at all.
Do you guys see what Matt Boyd said? Sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah, we got to put it up here. We have it up on the screen. Did you guys expect Rivette to win the way he did?
I think that I'm going to jump in here. I'm just going to say that's the elephant in the room to me. I think every one of those elites went down there thinking, man, I don't have to worry about Livescope. Like, it's Okeechobee. Like, I think it's the biggest shot out of nowhere. Like, Okeechobee just got one on Livescope in the spring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think a lot of guys even thought to do that. Like, yeah, there's crowds, but I'll frog up. I'll go around and catch them over here. I'll fish a ditch here, or I'll do like Clark and fish out a little deeper. Like, I talked to Paul and Nick and a couple of those guys. I'm like, what do you think of that? And you can kind of tell everyone's like, I think it's a big deal. Like,
Right.
we just got one on Livescope.
Yeah,
Like,
one thing-
the best anglers in the world at Okeechobee. Like, I think that's a big deal.
Go ahead,
That's just-
Adam.
No, but I mean, I think it is. I think the one thing to remember though is that everyone else in the top 10 wasn't using it, which doesn't mean necessarily that it was like a strict Livescope deal, but it's like it was awesome to watch. I loved every minute of it, and I think that I think Lee Livesey on the final day they had him in. You know, when they take that like midday break for Zona and Tommy Sanders, and he was like, yeah, man, I don't even have it on my boat yet. You know what I mean? Like, I took it off. I didn't even want it on there, deal with the grass and everything else on the trolling motor shaft. And it was like, holy crap. But you're right, Jake. I mean, like, I think the only contingency is that not everyone in the top 10, obviously, but like, dude, it was one. That was the W, you know, who's to say? Yeah, that's wild to me.
I bet you 104 anglers are driving a Seminole right now going, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be up on the bank. This is going to go. They're going to go to the banks. It's a grass lake. That's just me. I think that's like this whole Livescope argument and all that stuff. I think this was a big one.
If you guys saw Rivette's comment on stage when he won, I bet you 75% of the elite boys this week are going to be going quote unquote crappie fishing this week to see if they run into any bass as well. That was wild. He's like, yeah. He goes, I was cooking food for the guys that night, so I ran up the river to go catch crappie quick. I caught about 20 crappie, and I turn around and is that a bass on Livescope? And he casts at it, and he goes, oh, it's a 6-pounder. And then he goes down the bank and catches like another 4, another 5. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to fish here. Like, what are the chances?
One thing, though, I think, like, we saw him incorporate that into his day, like, in between, you know, like, these hot periods where he was catching fish after fish. Like, you saw at one point Brandon Cobb kind of stayed put and stayed locked in on, like, okay, it's Florida. I'm going to slow down and fish this area thoroughly. And Tyler Rivette was like, okay, my stuff slowed down. I'm going to keep, like, moseying along and keep a jerkbait on us with forward-facing sonar, you know? Everybody else just kind of stayed locked in, and he went fishing when it wasn't hot and kept the forward-facing sonar on us. So that's one thing I observed and really appreciated, and I think helped him edge out the W ultimately.
Well, if it's just another example of how forward-facing sonar is teaching us where bass are that we never knew they were.
Yeah.
I love it for that. Like, that's the coolest part to me, is that we're finding fish that we never have before. And I mean, if you can do it in a place like Florida, like, you can do it anywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people commenting how apparently Rivette went crappie fishing today at Seminole.
Great.
Here he goes again.
Dude, but in all seriousness, before even Livescope, man, I remember now, like, and it's interesting too, because I feel like being out west, we don't have lakes that have a bunch of crappie in them, right? Or minus Clear Lake. Clear Lake has a bunch of crappie in it. But like, going to Toledo Bend in a college tournament, we had a really good finish where we were throwing a jerkbait over a bridge, and it was like crappie. And then it was like 2-pounder mixed in with the crappie. And then out of nowhere, the females rolled up, and it was 4 and 5 pounders, and it was every cast. And then it was like crappie again. But it was like, I've had that happen on Rayburn, and I've had it happen on Toledo. And it's like, that's a thing, even before Livescope was a thing. And it's cool to me to see that kind of stuff happen. But now you can really understand it with Livescope.
For sure.
I think hey, do me a favor. When Wes comes on, ask him for me. How many guys out of the 105 guys, and these are guys that have fished their whole lives, right? This is what they do for a living. How many of them even thought that Okeechobee could get one on? I mean, maybe they thought they'd catch one or here, but that the Big O would get one on Livescope. And I bet you, and that's why like Tyler wasn't looking for it. He just found the golden, you know what I mean? The golden ticket. He's like, we'll catch a sac-a-lait. Oh my God, the winning pattern is right in front of me. But I bet you that the best anglers in the world all traveled down to that tournament. Not one of them thought about scope as, like Liv says pretty good with the scope. He didn't have one. So
how many people do you think
that's just why I take. What's that?
How many people do you think Googled what the hell sac-a-lait was after he said it on stage?
Anyone not from the South, like
Yeah.
I think it's just Louisiana for the most part, but yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Well, we actually have Wes coming in here to give us a little inside scoop. So let's really fast go through our scores from the Okeechobee event, and then we'll bring Wes in to preview, give a little inside info on Lake Seminole. So, Deacon, you want to kick us off?
No, I don't. I don't know my score.
Yeah, please don't.
Gosh, man, I only got once again. I don't think I've ever seen myself be at a 23% in the overall pick. I had 813 points out of my picks, man. Oof.
Ouch.
You got to choose one of the Johnston brothers, or I feel like one of them does really well and one of them does really poorly. And I feel like more guys pick Chris, but like Corey just had a good finish. I went with Corey, ended up in 91st. Like that's an ouch for a Group A pick. Hackney ended up in 35th. I was happy with that. I mean, like that's something. I mean, out of a B pick, if you can be ideally top 25 or better, I think it's good. Brian Schmidt did not do offshore grass stuff. And only finished 64th. John Cruz in 33rd, was happy with that for a bucket list D. And then, man, our boy Bryant Smith, West Coast, 58th. Not horrible, being that it was a bucket E pick, but would have liked to hopefully seen a little more shock and awe from him.
Yeah, agreed. Brennan, what about you?
Yeah, mine was slightly less brutal than Adams, but still very brutal. I got 35.5%. Brandon Lester, Greg Hackney, Scott Martin, Josh Douglas, Justin Hamner were my picks for a total of 874 points, which we had a little conversation before the show started. Like, I feel like knowing nothing was actually a huge advantage going into this one. Like, everything you thought you knew going into fantasy fishing this last week was kind of out the window. So I digress. 874 points. It is what it is.
Throw some darts.
Dude, one big point I just want to make before I forget, Brennan, because you and I were talking about it on the show last week. We're talking about like the percentage pick in fantasy and how much that plays a role.
And it did.
Yeah. But on that percentage pick, I would love to go back and look, what percentages are going to be. And like, if it's the first tournament of the year, you know how the rankings are always kind of jacked up. I wonder how much that's off. But anyways,
it'll be interesting. Andy, what about you?
I had 881 for 37.3%. Pretty much it was
boys. We're not gaining
we're doing terrible to start. Although I must say last year I started very poorly as well and kind of worked my way up. So that's what we're hoping for on this round. Yeah.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Well, while I did not remember to reselect my picks, I did go through and tallied up my points of what I would have had if I actually reselected my picks. Steve Kennedy, great pick for me on this one. Also had Brian Schmidt, who didn't have the greatest performance. Cliff Prince, I think, was in the 40s, like 43rd. Greg Hackney was in 35th. And then John Cox, I believe, was in the 40s as well. He was there 56. I can't recall which. Regardless, I had, if I actually had those picked, I had 1,005 points. So I would be sitting second behind our rookie here, Mr. Jake Boomer. Boomer, if you want to disclose how many points you had, what picks went well for you?
I had, and I don't know what any of this means, but I had 1,102 points.
Oh,
and I think and an overall pick percentage of 93.1. So is that
you're pretty good.
Top 7%.
Yeah, that means you did a good job.
Okay.
We all suck.
Boomer's like, I don't know. Is this good?
Yeah, you know who saved my butt was Drew Cook.
Yeah, it's a good pick
because he was in that that group of wolves. John Cox, all those other guys, and I grabbed him out of that bucket A. Yep. And he had a really good tournament. And when you watched him, he was like, I watched a ton of him when he was on live. He's like, I'm not fishing tomorrow. I'm gonna go home, and he made the top 10, fished. So it's kind of weird. Like I think I had more confidence in him than he did.
Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
All in all,
and then
go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I had Hallman, who was what he had. Actually, he ended okay, didn't he? I think at 29th, he did good. He was a rookie that I thought was going to do well down there. Scott Martin, he was the mail-in, and he still did good. Welcher was the other one that saved my butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked Bryant Smith. And out of like all the rookies, he still kind of held his own. Like if 58th, if you look at the 50 guys behind him, I didn't think it was so bad. So I called him and shoot his butt because I said I might pick him again this week. And told me I had to quit sucking.
Oh, that's funny.
In my experience, when you make a suggestion to an Elite Series pro, it never works, by the way. So
Damn it.
I've tried. Yeah, it doesn't ever work.
Quit sucking. Just poke him with a stick. Do something.
Well, all right. All in all, Okeechobee was a fun event to watch. Definitely threw a lot of wrenches in there for a lot of people, I'm sure, and we saw it happen all on live. But new event, second stop of the year, Lake Seminole. Before we start giving our predictions, let's bring in Mr. Wes Logan here to give us some a look at the lake for the week. Wes, what's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? How y'all?
What's up, man?
You
Good,
look
man.
whooped, bud.
I'm good. Another day at work.
Well, kind of give us a laydown of what Seminole's looking like and what the week could potentially produce.
The lake is it's a little dirty from all the rains they've had, but it's not like blown out or anything. I don't know. From what I kind of saw today, I think people's going to be able to kind of do their own thing. There's still going to be probably a few groups, but not to the extent of Okeechobee was. I mean, you're going to be able to get away from people here and kind of, people are going to be fishing on the bank, going to be fishing offshore. The main difference, which is crazy, is everybody was, looking for grass down there at Okeechobee. Well, the vice versa, there's grass every inch of this place. I mean, there's no lack of, offshore grass, whether it be hydrilla, milfoil, coontail, about anything you can name grass-wise. This place has got it right now. It's got more grass than I've probably ever. I've been here 2 times before this, and it's never had this much grass this time of year. So it's going to make it pretty interesting. I think it's going to spread some guys out. But I think you're also going to see some guys that really know how to dial in that offshore grass deal that have I'm not going to call it maybe a cast, but like they'll have a little area, maybe the size of 2 boats that the majority of their weight's going to come from. So I know I said it last week, but your traditional grass guys are going to do very well in this tournament. And your traditional offshore fishermen are going to do very well in this tournament. People that, are really good at, reading their contour lines, finding depressions, kind of what their eye goes to, where if you have a guy, just say like me, for instance, if you get me on the bank, I can kind of tell you, well, that bank's going to look better than that. And not say that the tournament may get one on the bank. It may get one sight fishing. I mean, the water temperatures this morning, it started out at 60. It got up to like 64 today, and it's not going to get any colder. So, I mean, there's going to be some fish caught off the bed. So your really good sight fisherman would be a good pick, I think. But like I said, I think the whole deal is people are going to kind of get to do what they want to do. It's just kind of depending on if you want to fish on the bank or off the bank. I really think it's what it's going to come down to.
Heck yeah. Fellas, any more questions here for Wes? I think you laid it on the line pretty good for us.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Thank you.
Yeah. Wes, that was it, buddy. That's all we needed.
I was trying to like check off the things y'all were talking about last time, but I mean, it's
nailed that.
Oh, Boomer. What about Boomer's question?
Yeah, I wanted an Okeechobee recap.
You don't
What did you think about Forward Imaging beating that?
Yeah, hats off to Tyler for figuring that out. That's really incredible. I know there was some guys actually fishing in the river on the bank. So, and I will say also hats off to those guys for kind of not getting on top of him, because you can kind of tell when somebody's doing that. And I mean, for him to be doing that and be leading the tournament doing as good as he did, for nobody to come in there on him is pretty stand up of all those guys that were fishing in there to begin with. But the bad thing is, and I love Tyler to death. I'm not taking anything away from him. The fact that tournament got won on forward facing sonar shows what kind of problem Okeechobee's got lake wise. Those three areas they finally fell apart on the final day after 2 weeks of pressure. Like everybody kept saying, "Oh, there's going to be more coming. There's more. There no more were coming." Like that was it. I mean, I think one or two guys caught a 5-pounder that last day out of 10 people in the best areas on the lake, and Tyler caught one in the river like a 6-pounder. But those three areas just finally kind of fell apart. And it's just not a good deal that, you have those kind of major tournaments down there and everybody's having to fish in three areas that are the size of, 3 football fields. So it's not a good deal going on down there water wise. A lot of politics going on. And I think that just kind of shows, him winning that way, kind of the path that lake's really going down with the pressure that it's still getting. So, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm not that guy, but I think it just kind of brought that to light even more.
Over under 50 boats in that river, the next tournament they have there.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's like a Toyota series or whatever they call it now down there in like a month. I can't imagine. Yeah, I feel bad for those crappie and the bass in there.
A lot of crappie gonna get ate in practice.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt. There's no doubt.
That's awesome. Well, Wes. Oh, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Boomer.
I just had one other question. Was that the most crowded it's ever been in those? I saw the live. I couldn't do that. What some of you guys had to do. I saw Steve Kennedy's area. That blew me away.
Yeah, I mean, I told y'all when we were on. I mean, I told y'all it was going to be bad. Like that Party Cove deal at Harris Chain was, there was a bunch of people in there, but it was a pretty big area, and we could kind of like move around each other. I knew it was literally going to be like everybody's fishing the same, 10 mats of dollar pads and hyacinths blown in there, because that's just where the clean water was. And I mean, when they swam in there, that's where they were going to swim to. I mean, I fished in Moonshine. I actually started in South Bay, and my deal really wasn't going, so I abandoned that, went to Plan B in Moonshine and caught everything I weighed in there. We had some people in there. Carl was the last one of all of us that made it. He literally didn't. He made one little bait adjustment in there, I think, that made a big difference. So hats off to him too. But we had probably, I'd say, 15 people in there, kind of fishing around each other. But it was crazy is you would see somebody, like, you would either get a bite or somebody else would, and then for the next like 30 minutes it would just be like wide open, and then it would just stop, and then like a couple hours later it would happen again. And I think it was kind of happening like that all over the lake. But it's kind of weird. You're never around people that much to kind of see it happen like that. So it was really odd to be that close to everybody, like all the time.
For sure.
Yeah. All I know is that at one point, Steve Kennedy's cameraman recorded more like non-angler catches. Like their boats were so close that he just like would zoom in on like other fishermen that were in a different tournament and watch their fish catches because Steve wasn't catching them at the time. I was like, holy cow, those guys are close. Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to derail the night, but just wanted.
No, it was crazy. Like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. I hope I don't have to see it again like that. I don't think that it's going to be that way this week. But I do think there's going to be some guys probably, and I'm probably one of them, that's going to fish by the winning fish and miss it by 30 feet. You never know it because they're just all sitting on top of each other, because that's just how this lake plays out. But I think from pick wise, you go with your grass guys and your offshore guys. It'll be a safe bet for sure, and sight fishing.
Cool. Well, Wes, buddy, we'll appreciate it. Good luck the rest of this week in practice, and we'll be rooting for you for the derb, man.
Sounds good, buddy. May we can right the ship on this one.
Heck yeah, we're
tear it up, dude.
See y'all. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
See you, Wes. I don't know. Really fast to comment on that before we get into Seminole. Maybe you guys. I'm curious if I'm crazy here, or if you guys are on par with what I'm about to say. But if there's an elite event going out, like a tournament, these guys do this for a living, and you're going out to fish like your 30 boat, club derby. I don't feel right pulling in on those guys and like potentially taking fish from them. Am I wrong saying that?
No, I agree, but I mean, you have to remember too, it is Florida. Like, just things happen different down there. They just don't care. They're going fishing 7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I'm
feel
all
like-
for people going fishing, right? But I'm just saying, like, even if I go on the same lake, like, if I see them in an area, I'm not going to pull in and go fish 20 feet from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them
See,
were probably guides that probably knew what was going on and were probably fishing those areas like before they got into town. I could be totally wrong, but I'm just speculating that could be a scenario.
Mm.
And then in that case, like if it's a guide, I guess me personally, like I'm still not with that, but I could see that being a scenario down there. Guides in the same areas, trying your fishing.
There was I think it was a
Team
100 some odd boat tournament that went out on Saturday too.
Oh, my
Like
word.
some of the fish catches, the guys there were guys in jerseys.
Right. I think that's
Yeah.
like the difference for me, I guess. Like I'm in 100% agreement. Like I find it really hard to fish next to those guys when they're fishing for a living, Bailey, like you're saying. But the difference is club tournament and 30 boats is a lot different than a 100 boat payout, you know, that might be $10,000 or $20,000. Like at that point, I'm probably fishing. And I'm not going to necessarily go watch the elite event and see where someone's fishing. But if like I don't know, if it's like where it's substantial, I feel like it's hard to stop that.
Can you imagine fishing your derb on that Saturday and you're not catching them? You just pull up Bass Live and just see like, oh, Kennedy's over there. Let's go that way.
That'd be bad.
I think you could go down a rabbit hole on that one.
yeah,
On
you
that
definitely
topic.
could.
Like the worst I ever saw was our first MPFL event on Eufaula. And Sukup was leading it. And I was literally like 50, 60 yards away fishing brush piles. And he's arguing with the guys that beat him to the brush pile he was leading the tournament out of. And he's arguing with them and yelling at him while he's culling. Like everybody's catching fish out of this brush pile. And he's screaming at him, weighing fish. Like, I'm leading a tournament here. You know, it was hilarious. I'm like, he's still mad at him. I don't even know if he knows what weight's on that scale. You know, I'm like, I hope he throws the wrong one back. It was so funny.
That's great.
Oh my word, that is funny. All right, really fast before we start diving into Seminole. Big shout out to Army Outdoors. Just became a member of the Serious Angle YouTube channel. Big shout out to him for doing that. We do have that on our channel. We don't ever ask you guys to do so, but if you want to, there are perks to doing so. Feel free to join in. It's on just click on our YouTube channel, the main page. There'll be an option to join if you guys want to. But Lake Seminole. After hearing what Wes has got to say, do you guys have any other predictions as to what you might think will come for this week?
I do have a question though. How many over 10 pounds will be caught? Because it's the lake with the best chance at it on the Florida-Georgia line. Where will there be a 10-pounder weighed?
I see.
What was Big Bass at Okeechobee?
I don't even remember.
I don't think there was a double digit, was there?
I don't think
I know there was
a
like there was what, a
Eight.
mid-9?
I was going to say 9, high 8, but I could be wrong. I'm almost positive there wasn't a double digit, though.
We're seeing 8-12.
Are we?
I don't know enough about Seminole, but I did see. I looked up tournaments from the past year to see if there's any similar time frame. There was a Toyota this time last year. I think it was a couple days.
I don't think it was this
afterwards.
time. It was. I think at least when I was looking earlier, there was a 2021 one in May.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of events are in March normally.
Oh no, you're right. I got that confused with Santee Cooper. That's my fault. Yeah, I know it takes big weights to win there. I don't know if there's going to be a 10. I can't speak enough on it. I think it is Seminole though, and it does take big bags to win there, especially this time of year.
So in 2019, the Tackle Warehouse, or at the time, I think it was still FLW, March 7th through the 10th tournament, Brian Latimer won that with 80 pounds, 15 ounces over 4 days.
When was that?
2019, March 7th through 10th. So a little after this, about 2.5 weeks after this.
Was that still an FLW back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It was Brian Latimer's first win, right?
That was a cool win. Yeah, he was super emotional.
It was like punching like deep milfoil.
Yep, he was
It was on
flipping.
a trap
punching.
too.
Wasn't he also spinning
Front
rod
rigs.
stuff like Little Worm? that he does just to like catch keepers, or no?
No,
I
I think he
trapped.
flipped and trapped almost. Well, he might throw in a wacky rig or a drop shot, but I feel like mostly.
I remember him flipping for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2014, which is almost 10 years ago, B Height had almost 100 pounds and a half, and they had like a half day on the final day of the event because
That was
of
probably like
major
the invention of
thunderstorm system. Yeah,
the coming out party of the chatterbait. I feel like,
it was.
It was still under
100%.
wraps.
yeah.
But he won that tournament by 13 pounds even.
Homeboy bought some pizza.
Definitely the chatterbait.
Yeah.
Dude, I just loved how and it's like it kind of got old, but during the what event? I guess it was Attack Warehouse Invitational now when Brett Height finished. I don't know, he had a good finish. He's in the top 10 on the final day. I was just turning it on live. And I mean, the announcers, Marty Stone and JT Kenny, were just like, do you think he's making more on this check or his royalties on the chatterbait today? Like on and it's
Royalties,
like, honestly, like
1000%.
probably the royalties by a good ways.
Yeah, I would imagine.
He was getting a damn good check. Like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So let me pull up the weather forecast here for this week. So today down on Lake Seminole, it was
Probably warm.
70, 73. Tomorrow is going to be 75. Wednesday, 77. Thursday, 79. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be 78. And every day is sunny or partly cloudy and a south wind until like a 10 to 15 mile an hour south wind until Friday through Sunday are west northwest winds 5 to 10. There could definitely be spawn going on. That's for sure. We don't have moon phase in effect though. Full moon down there is until March 7th. So I don't know. I think there could be. I think, like Wes said, obviously we're not going to probably argue with Wes's insight here, but you're going to see a mix of things, and I think that'll come out in some of our picks. I'm sure.
The problem with Wes coming on is I want to go back and pick him. Like every time Wes starts talking, I'm like, I should have picked Wes.
Somebody said earlier in the chat that Wes has a good track record here.
Yeah, it's close to home too, I think.
It ain't far.
I'm sure you're going to see a lot of swim jigs this week.
Swam jigging.
Wild card prediction. Not saying I'm gonna pick Wes, but for whatever reason, dude, he seemed like eerily a little confident there for just one day of practice. To me, like just the way he was talking, I was like, I don't know, just something was different compared to the last time at Okeechobee. Came on.
And then the big yawn right at the beginning that he was trying to hold in.
Yeah, I was like, you look tired, but nah, I'm good. Yawns.
Yeah,
All right,
that was a tough one.
let me share screen here.
Well, how many frogfish or topwater fish will we see this week? That's a good question.
That
Do
is
you
a good
think there'll be
question.
any?
Frogfish, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean it's the south in the spring, and it's the south. So there's south means frog.
Side note, real fast, Bailey, as you pick your pick, make sure you hit the plus button and
Yes.
add them into the screen.
I have a very big capital letters on my notepad here that says "Pick your picks again, idiot." So,
That's great.
yes, don't worry. I have my reminders. I even have alarms set on my phone to remind me. So
I
yes,
just want to
thank
give you a friendly reminder.
I appreciate it, buddy. You're always looking out.
One thing I guess that I do miss about the golf scoring is that we can't talk about who won and lost for the week. We should figure out a way to get that.
You know, we can do that.
Even
So
though I probably lost for the week, but I wanted to make that clear.
you did. We'll put it out there. You did lose for the week.
So did I.
Well,
So
Same.
Here is the hierarchy for week 1. As of now, going into stop 2, in first place is Mr. Jake Boomer with 1,102 points. In second place, in our group here, not on Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing, but in our group here, I am in second with 1,005 points.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey, you guys can go back and fact check me. I will show you the proof. I'll take screenshots. Okay, you can polygraph me. I promise. Andy is in third place with 881. Brennan in fourth place with 874, and Deacon in last with 813. So there's your higher.
Rounded it out, buddy.
Drain the lake went well.
Yes.
We'll get to drain the lake here in a little bit. That's a good call. Mine did not go well, so I guess both of them didn't go well for me. But okay, so let's start diving in. Group E. For our picks, we'll start from fifth to first. We'll go Deacon. What's your pick for the week? We're making.
No, I don't want to mess up with success. Go ahead, Deacon. You can go last.
Oh, come on!
I don't want to mess with it. It worked last time, and I just
I don't remember who went first last time. Boomer, was it you that went first?
It was either me or
I don't know.
Brennan.
Apparently,
It was Boomer, yeah.
All right, Boomer, kick it off then.
Oh,
Go
we're
first.
gonna let me. So now, if I get my butt kicked, and we know it wasn't about Deacon's strategy.
I think that you're just superstitious here.
Yeah, that's true.
just a little stitches.
Just a little stitches.
We're fit.
Yeah,
Right?
All right,
I'm
Boomer,
on the far right of the screen, so I don't care. I picked Christy on this one.
Christy,
I can't
okay.
believe Christy is in the E bucket. That
Same.
just blows me away.
Yeah.
So, and I like you want to look at a guy and be like, man, is he just having that slump? Is he having the post classic slump? But he didn't slump last year. He had a bad one, and then he'd win one. And I don't know.
I mean,
Seminole
look-
has rivers and spinnerbait biters, so I had to pick Christy
And big fish. It's a good
and
pick.
big fish.
Yeah, I mean, look at last year, right? He wins the classic, goes straight to Santee Cooper, where people are like, "Oh, dude, he's gonna catch him again."
Bomb.
Like catches one fish on day one, and then wins Chickamauga.
Yeah.
Like the dude is all over the place, but always a factor.
Right.
Always a factor.
Yeah.
All right. Brennan, if we're going
Yeah.
on the screen.
I too went Jason Christie. I mean, anytime you get Jason Christie, which not anytime, because I think this is the first time I've ever seen it in bucket E, you can't not pick him. He's 43.4% owned. Like, Jake was saying, you got shallow water opportunities. I can't not pick Jason Christie here. The other one I was really tempted to, and actually at one point had picked, was Corey Johnston. Around grass, Florida fish. That's kind of his deal. So I don't look for him to have another crappy tournament. I think he's going to rebound. I'd look into him as well, but I'm going Jason Christie.
Got you. Okay. Deacon.
Oh, thank God I'm not last. I'm also going Jason Christie.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Jason Christie, like you said, Group E. I don't know how you don't take that pick. There's a couple other just guys who had an off tournament with Okeechobee to start the year, but out of that group, I just think it's a blaring 43% Jason Christie.
I got you. Okay. Andy?
I'm going to throw this out there. I think we're all going to have very similar picks through E through A just because of the way Seminole sets up. As soon as I saw Jason Christie in Group E, I was like, I got to take Christie. But, I mean, I did have another guy in here that I thought might be a sneaky good pick.
I swear
If
to God.
it is a chatterbait bite, it would have been Frank Talley, like as a wild card. Because he does know how to catch big ones on a chatterbait. So I was thinking about taking Frank, but I took Jason Christie.
Damn, you guys all took Christie?
Oh, yeah.
Good grief. Okay. Well, this will make this a little bit more interesting for people. They're not seeing the same pick. I went, and we're going to pick my pick here. Okay. We're going Mr. Keith Boshay.
That was another good one.
Another one with you talking about rivers, somebody that's good up shallow, especially if there's sight fishing involved, somebody that can fish grass. Keith Boshay is a sneaky one in my mind.
He shows up.
Well, if he shows, I did text him and ask if he's coming this weekend.
Somebody put in here earlier. I'm gonna see if I can find the comment, but said he got caught in a fence with his boat somewhere.
Yes.
See if I can find it. Yeah. Hold on.
Like in the Derby, or you mean like
in practice?
coming?
Like I think he's stuck up a river somewhere in a fence. See if I can find it.
Wait, are we being like, is it like as in this is a joke, right?
You know what? It's Keith Boshay, and he likes to go in random places with this little boat.
But like
So-
Zona and gang were like to kind of like talking about it on air of like, what's going on with him? Is he at the other tournament? Like they didn't know.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he
But-
made the knockout at or the later rounds at Kissimmee.
Right.
I don't know if I can.
That's
find
so
this
crazy. He's
comment.
doing both.
I think that is his. I believe that's his one conflict for the year. I could be wrong.
Is he fishing out of the aluminum or his bigger boat?
I believe he has to do his big boat. I could be wrong. We'll have to get him back on the show and ask him. Or I'll text him right here and see if we can get an answer by the end of the show. Okay. Let's start ripping through bucket D. Boomer.
This was a tough one. Did you guys think D was a tough one? I thought D was the worst freaking one.
It was.
And I
tough.
bounced between Benton and Schmidt. And I don't know. My gut said go with Benton. He's roommates with Cook. He's a pretty good all-around fisherman. He's really good when they're shallow.
Probably pretty
And he
close
grew
to
up in
his home,
Florida.
too.
Yeah, it's close to home. Something just told me to pick Benton. My hope is that Schmidt isn't kind of having that just kind of a downturn, but that's kind of what I was getting at. So it's hard to read off of Okeechobee results because you could have been in one of those big groups and just never have a shot at a fish. So
For sure. Brennan?
Yeah, I'm going Benton as well. It's his home lake. I can't not pick him for that reason. I know Scotty Martin didn't work out so well for me at Okeechobee, but I'm going to go with another home field advantage guy. I feel like the lake is under much more normal conditions than Okeechobee was for those home field guys. I think this is a chance for Drew Benton to take a W away from a place that he's got a lot of time on, and got to go with Drew Benton here.
I am today years old that I realize you can, from Brian's comment, that you can click own percentage and rank them. I didn't know you could do that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look at this.
wait,
Nice.
what?
You can click on the own percentage.
Wow. Game
That's
changer.
that's new.
I
That's
didn't know that.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
holy crap. Ronnie Moore probably did that for himself and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Jerk.
Oh man.
That's incredible. Well, thank you, Brian. Brian used to be like our fantasy fishing moderator and do this stuff for us.
Yes.
He's obviously way better than we are.
We should
Okay.
have created an extra user and had him just do the own button for every tournament. Call it the anonymous
Yeah.
person, and so we just set him up to just click the own button. At every
Apparently,
tournament.
it's been around for 4 years.
Oh gosh.
We're just idiots, man.
Yeah, I just scroll and choose. I'm like, oh, this guy would be a good pick. Click.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
who am I feeling today?
Yeah.
Because anytime I get too analytical, I just lose.
Yeah, we're getting roasted in the comments right now. People are like, "That's not new."
Fair enough.
All right,
I just
fellas.
never tried. So
Sorry,
Yeah,
boys.
I didn't realize a thing. I just scrolled. All right, DK, who you got?
Bucket D, I've got Drew Benton as well. This is interesting.
we're swinging for the fences today, boys. What
I
an
mean,
episode.
Dude, home lake. I just have been so many videos in my head of Drew Benton catching a Florida fish. Like
Yeah.
could be sight fishing, dude. Just all of it, right? So hard to bet against him, and also at that percentage. So you're right. As far as E and D buckets so far, all of our picks have been very similar.
Dude, Adam's going first next time, all right?
Put
Not
him in
even
last or
Yeah.
third. He's still choosing the same.
Oh,
All right, well, guys,
Andy.
I'm gonna take the fourth swing here, and I am not gonna pick Drew Benton.
Thank
I
God.
gotta get a little one up on you guys and try to pass you a little bit. There's
good point. I got to make
there-
up.
there's a sneaky little pick down here, owned about 5% in Jacob Porosnik, who knows how to grass fish, knows how to catch big ones, knows how to catch them on the spawn. And I think he could be a really sneaky pick in Group D. I wanted to take Drew Benton, home lake, knows how to catch big ones, but Jacob Porosnik, got to take him. He's due for another Bassmaster win. It's been a little bit.
Oh, you're calling him to win.
No, I'm saying he's due, and this could be one that he could win, and I wouldn't be surprised if he would win.
So you're calling it a win.
So you're calling it.
It's 105 anglers, right? Like,
calling it a win.
all right, fine, I'll take it. Jacob Prosnick will have a shot to win Lake Seminole.
No, you didn't say shot. You said he will win.
Shot. He's having a shot.
Come on,
105 anglers. All right.
Where was his first win? Deacon probably knows.
Benton?
No, Porosnik's first elite win was a sight fishing tournament. I can't remember where.
I feel like it was somewhere like Carolina-y. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
James?
No.
Yeah, it was big fish though. I just remember he had one on camera. It was a monster. Can't remember where it was at though.
Mississippi River.
I know he won there, but he won another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chesapeake Bay.
Oh, it was a largemouth.
Why don't we just
I'll have
click
to
on
look it up.
Where is his out here? And it was an elite win, right? We're not talking FLW.
I'm pretty sure it was an elite win.
Toledo
all
Bend.
sitting in front of a
I'm
website
pretty
that has
sure
all the
it was
wins.
Toledo Bend. Almost positive it was Toledo Bend. It was that event that Zeldane caught like a monster on a drop shot with 6-pound test.
Dang.
Grass.
Good work, Andy.
I think that was it.
Let's see.
Yep, he won on Toledo in 2014.
I was going to guess
vintage
2015.
Bassmaster, not even vintage, but like the one that was the Evan Williams Bourbon Bassmaster Elite event.
Fantastic. That was when Toledo Bend had a lot of grass too.
He also won the Bassmaster Angler of the Year championship when they used to have that. And,
What is the Bassmaster Series? That says it's his.
back in the day, dude?
Doesn't know what that is. Just says Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah, that's what
He won it. And it was only $3,000.
Yeah, it's probably James River or something.
Or
Chesapeake.
It was Bugs Island.
Ah, yeah.
That's cool.
That's where they're going back there this year.
We got an open there this year, yeah.
It was June 19th, and there was 69. There's more than 69 boats. There's a bunch of guys that blanked. There's like 75-ish, 80 boats.
Somebody said it was before Bailey was born. You are correct, good sir. Okay, Andy, you got your pick in. I'm also not going Drew Benton, but I'm going the second highest percentage with Brian New. I'm going to go Mr. Brian New on there. Pretty much the same reasons as Drew Benton. Relatively close to it. The dude just kind of meshes with it. I like that kind of style. Somebody that can mix it up and do sight fishing and an offshore grass deal. So I'm going to take Brian New. I would take Benton, but I got some weird thing about not taking people with giant percentages. I don't know. Just play the odds. Call it gambling. Call it what you like. But I'm going Mr. Brian New, and I'll make my selection here.
I want to give you like a soundboard round of applause every time you pick and press them on the screen so you don't goose egg.
Well, here's what I do have is I can just take you off a screen and now we're good. Just kidding. Hey, look,
fine.
Deacon's not in the middle now.
Deacon moved up.
Hey, move him to where he's all the way over at the front for next week. All right?
Somebody please, just
Wait, let's see. Hold on. I think I can work some magic here. Let's see. Wait for us.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You can't be beat.
Oh, man. That's funny. All right. So moving on before we get distracted. Group C, Boomer.
I'm going to listen. I want you guys to know that I'm taking this serious, and I'm grateful you invited me to come on this show.
Here we go.
What is that?
But I'm taking Bryant Smith again, and it's just because I know the guy. He's got no percentage, but he did kind of hold his own in Okeechobee, and he's a Deacon said it best last year. He is a grass guy, Delta, Clear Lake, grass guy that can move and shake really well.
Just real fast.
He's that guy.
Boomer. Don't fall into the Bailey trap and taking Justin Atkins every single event. So just be careful. Tread lightly.
This is his last shot. Like I even told him, I said, "Listen, this is all you get. I won't even talk to you after this if you bomb this one."
He's breaking up with them, folks. He's breaking up.
It's over.
That dude's struggling just to eat a peanut butter sandwich in his truck, and you're telling him you're not gonna be his friend anymore after fantasy fishing.
I just
Come
look
on,
that group was a tough group too, though. Like
It was.
it's kind of a tough group, so I had to go with. I mean, if I didn't do that, we'd all have the bottom three of us all have the same picks anyway. So
For sure.
I know. I feel bad when it's like,
I'm sure you and Deacon will probably have the same pick here, Boomer. So
You West Coasters.
Jesus.
yeah,
Such a cult.
ride and die, buddy. Ride and die.
All right, Brennan. What do you got?
Yeah, so I got burned by this guy badly last week. I'm gonna go with him again. It's Florida. It's shallow. I have to go John
Ride and die.
Yeah, ride or die. I mean, he's 35.8% owned. He'll be 40% by the tournaments, here.
Yeah.
If I go down, a lot of people are going down with me. It's shallow water. It's John Cox. It's Florida. I'm going John Cox. I'm just trying to retain as many points as possible right now while we're still in Florida, technically, because I hate Florida fantasy fishing. But moving on, John.
I love the angle of if I go down 35% of going
Dude,
down.
it's true. Yeah, you're going down with me.
I love it.
Keeps it close.
That's right.
All right, Andy, you're up.
All right. Group C. Who did I pick here? Oh,
You
I have
didn't
a
even
feeling-
notice I skipped over Deacon.
Yeah, I know. I was laughing. So I have a feeling me and Bailey are going to have a very similar pick in Group C, and I'm picking Luke Palmer. He is a good junk fisherman, great flipper, and I think this event's going to set up really well for him. And I think he's actually pretty lightly owned at 1.1%. So I'm trying to make some moves on you guys here and jump up the leaderboard. So we're going to take Luke Palmer here in event number 2.
I like it. Obviously, big fan of Luke, but I am not taking Luke. I am
tried.
jumping on the same train as Brennan here and going with Mr. John Cox.
We're playing the chalk, dude. We're going straight chalk this week.
I mean, dude, it's so hard to bet. I mean, obviously it's in Florida, and he didn't have a great event in regards to John Cox standards in Florida. But when you mix in potential spawners, grass, it's hard to not pick the guy.
For sure.
I mean, you know what I mean? So it's,
Yep.
I don't know. There's really not much else to comment on that. That's John Cox, and he can win anywhere he goes.
Here's my thing with John Cox is it seems like every time I pick him, he does terrible. So I just stay away from him. And not terrible, just 50th or 45th.
And then some years he's in top 10 AOI. And
every tournament.
yeah,
he's just
exactly.
unstoppable. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, Deacon, round us out.
Oh boy. Well, to make things better.
Oh God, here it comes. John Cox.
I am going wild card, dude. Bucket C for me. I think there's obviously some great options in here angler wise, but I just have a feeling, just thinking how good Clifford Perch is at sight fishing. If he can find some sight fishing and just being his background on Havasu and all the Western lakes, as far as looking at him goes and watching him do that over the years in Bassmaster, I look for Clifford Perch to top 10 this event.
Oh,
watch out for that loon plopper, man. Those Florida bass love that thing when he gets it going.
He loves a plopper. So, I mean, I'm going Clifford Perch. He's only at a 1.9% for sure, a wild card compared to what you guys are talking about pick wise. But that's my pick.
I think that's a great pick. Yeah.
Great pick.
Andy, that's not even have you rewatched this? I think it's a St. John's that he caught that.
I thought it was the loon color, the black with the white.
It's custom. It's it's like that Florida brownish tannic. You have to go back and I'll send you the clip, but you could tell he custom color on that one. It was actually pretty dope.
Juice.
But this is a really good comment right here. I'm giving y'all an A+ for loyalty going down with the ship. You could take some good stuff from us. You could probably take a lot of bad away from these shows too.
It's all for fun anyway, so it's a good time.
I got a little sleeper pick for your listeners, just something to really mess with there. David Gaston is a rookie from Alabama, lives pretty close, super hard to not pick him. But 2 days after a day or so ago, I know that he ordered a chatterbound from me. So he's planning on throwing chatterbaits. But every time we got shallow vegetation when I fished against him, he knocked our teeth in. So
Mm.
it was hard not to pick
Good
him.
to
He's
know.
one of those guys that get a lot of points for you if he does well.
Local.
He didn't do that horrible in Okeechobee either.
Heck yeah.
I like that. Deep rookie
Yeah.
pick. Another one to add on to that, guys, is the guy we just had on, Wes Logan.
I know.
I mean, his confidence level, that was weird listening to him talk. And then as Bass Pack said, I went and looked at the stats. Both very similar times. First week of the first 2 days of March. Wes finished 7th in 2018 in the Toyota Series, and he finished 21st in 2017. I mean, real eerily similar time frames. And so anyways, I kind of feel bad none of us picked him, but that's
I feel dumb not picking him. I think you're right, Deke.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
It's the problem is that I pretty much sold my friendship out on Brian. I couldn't not pick him. He has to perform or he's out.
There you go. Now you get to yell at him if he does bad. You're like, I could have picked Gaston,
Give
but
a
no, I'm
side-
trying to be a true friend, and I picked you.
That's right.
Son of a-
I like it. All right, Boomer, Group B.
Group B, Buddy Gross.
Mm.
He's not the highest percentage guy, but something about that cat around these grass fisheries. Won Harris Chain last year. I don't know. Every time, and he was picked to win that FLW in 17. He was one of the guys that was. I think he did all right. I didn't look how he finished, but he was kind of a favorite back then. So he's kind of my wild card pick. That's a tough. B is, I think, probably tougher than A. Yeah, B was a tough one.
I agree. Winners coming out of B. Another bold prediction.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Brennan, what you got?
Yeah, this one was kind of a tough one for me. I feel like B, out of all the buckets, is maybe the biggest opportunity to stand apart from other people, to kind of gain some points. I went with Micah Frazier here, who I know I just got done saying it's an opportunity to stand out, and I realize he's the third most owned in that bucket, but it's his part of the country. He's a great offshore fisherman. He's very versatile, likes grass. He's from Georgia. Seminole can't be too far away. That was sort of my mentality. The other one I would have picked here, that's probably another big sleeper, is actually Caleb Kufall from Wisconsin. But I'm going to go with Micah.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, look, somewhat the same time of year. I think it was a little bit later last year, but Santee Cooper, he showed out.
Yeah, he's also got a W at Gunnersville in 2020, flipping grass on an area that was about the size of the hood of your truck. So you can find the details and exploit them for sure.
I like that pick.
Can I change to Caleb Kufall from Micah Frazier?
Let it rip.
My turn's not over. I just
Turn's
talked
not
myself into it. Okay.
I think it's a great pick, dude. I think it's a super sleeper.
Let it be known if Micah Frazier wins that at one point I did have him picked, though.
Okay, if you go with that route.
We're Caleb Kufall now. Let's go, Caleb.
Deal.
Love it.
All right, Deke.
Man, I am following the crowd, but to some extent in this, I'm surprised how Buddy Gross is only at a 7.8% for his track record here, his ability to catch grass fish. He finished 11th in 2021, and he won a Toyota Series here in 2017. Again, same in early March timeframe. So I went with Buddy Gross. I thought another underrated pick here, if it's a flipping and a punching deal at all. Bradley Hallman's coming off a great finish in his rebirth into the Elite Series, and is someone that's always good in Florida, and if there's a flipping bite going on. So that would be another potential wild card in bucket B. But man, Buddy Gross at 7.8%. I would have figured he'd have been, I don't know, 20%, something like that.
Dig it. Andy?
Well, I feel like just sitting here, I've changed my picks 5 times. I'll even say it. And it's so hard for me to choose because whenever I think of flipping bites, I always tend to rotate towards Greg Hackney because he just always catches them with a big stick. But he hasn't treated me too well the last few times I've picked Greg, so I have a hard time choosing him. So I was torn between actually going between Hallman and Brandon because Brandon tends to show up in these events as well.
Brandon
That
shows up
came-
in every event.
I know. So I'm
Finally figured out
you know-
Florida, and it's a problem.
yeah, I went with Brandon just because I took a couple low percentage guys in group D and C, so I'm going to take BP in this one.
I like that pick, and I really was leaning towards Brandon. I think Brandon's still going to have a top 30. But I will say I think right now Greg Hackney's winning this event.
That fits in my category of the winners coming in Group B.
I think Hackney's going to take this one. I think, you look at this bucket, I could see Buddy Gross top 30, and I see Brandon top 30, and I could see, there's a whole handful of guys. You could say John Cruz could have a good event here.
Just
Bradley
about
Holman.
this whole group could finish in the top 30.
Dude, yeah, there's.
I would even look out for Pat Schlapper. You saw it last year where he just came out of nowhere for some of these style events and catches some of the biggest fish. He did 2 events in a row where he caught big bass at the event. The dude knows how to fish grass. The dude knows how to fish spawners.
I can't believe you Northerners didn't pick him.
I was really tempted
Not
to.
even mention him.
Pat
I just
Schlapper,
mentioned him.
Yeah, I was so waiting to see if it was going to happen, Bailey. You're right. You're the man because he got 26th at Okeechobee.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah, he had a great tournament. And didn't he just crush everybody's skull when he was up north for years? I remember Joel Wheeler telling me that they were so happy he left. If he showed up, they're like, oh god.
both,
That's a question for Brennan.
yeah, Schlapper and Kufal are both they're grass hounds from Wisconsin. So their part, their area of Wisconsin is predominantly grass lakes. They still have rock, nice clean water too. But a lot of their lakes are grass based. And these guys, when they've been qualifying for championships, going to Pickwick, anywhere on the TVA, they hunt out the grass and they dominate. Wherever there's grass, they're going to find the biggest fish in that grass and they're going to catch them. So yeah. I feel good about both those guys going into this one for sure.
Yeah,
That
so
is
he
a
could be
great
the
call.
Group B sleeper pick, Northern sleeper pick.
For sure. I like that one big time. All right. Last bucket. Bucket A.
I just want to say that Bucket A was a blender of crap. How do you pick this stuff?
Because
you
he
do
came
your
from Okeechobee.
percentages. This sucked. Kennedy, Cobb, Kennedy. So all they do is they take the great anglers from the last tournament and shove them all into one, and then you can't ride any. You can't ride your winning horse.
Yeah.
So I picked Patrick Walters, even though I freaking think Walters fishing like a machine. Cobb had a great tournament, but something about Patrick lately, and I really wanted to pick Cook. So, but
Hey,
something about
Walters AOY pick, man, for me for this season.
Yeah.
He had a great start.
Mhm.
Excited to see how he
Mhm.
does.
All right, Brennan, what do you got?
I'm going straight chalk here with Drew Cook. It's
The most chalk guy.
dude, I have to. I put up 870 some points last week. I need all the points I can get. I'm going Drew Cook. It's right in his wheelhouse the way the lake sets up. Not far from him at all. Drew Chalk. He's shown what he can do when sight fishing plays. He's one of the dominating forces on the Elite Series when it comes to sight fishing. So I look for whatever sight fishing opportunities there to be. I look for him to find it. I could also picture him setting up really well, something offshore too, not even necessarily shallow. So I'm going Drew Cook. I think he's just well-rounded the way this event shapes up. Cook. And he's 44.1% owned. So
Yeah, it's that golden 30. Was it 30 percentage points or above? Is
anything over 30, and I'm automatically leaning towards that. Yeah, dude, you go down with the rest of them, right?
That's right.
Have you guys seen his articles on Bassmaster that he's writing about this? Get prep and stuff. And this tournament was big on his radar. He called the Bass guys and said, "I'm going to write some articles about getting ready for having a home field advantage, a home lake." I've been reading them; they're awesome. I love his mindset. But he called him and said, "I'm going to write this," and Bass "Sure, we'll publish it." So he's a really good pick. I can't believe I'm not picking him. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
he saved my butt in the last tournament.
Yeah, he's riding momentum too, for sure. That
Yeah,
helps. And he's always riding momentum because he's always top 20 in every event. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's a safe pick.
dude's a hammer.
Yep.
Deacon, who you got?
And I'm going Drew Cook. Hey, I got my wild card out of the way with the Golden Ram in bucket C. But man, that is it's hard to bet against him with what the fish are doing. I would say the only person I was hesitant to pick instead was Brandon Cobb, just because, man, he's fishing so good, and whatever it is, when there's big ones around and it's around the spawn, I'm not saying they're spawning, but like there's shallow fish, like we saw him do in Texas, I see him do it in South Carolina. He moves fast and catches big ones, and he just looks like he's having the greatest time in the world screwing off, and he is dying catching big ones. And I just expect him, when he's around big fish like that, he just does well. So that's a sleeper for me. But I'm going Drew Cook because I'm a baby and it's at 44%.
Because I'm a baby.
And I think Drew Cook could also win this. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Drew Cook is going to have a shot to win. So,
Andy, if they ask you, everybody's got a shot to win.
It is fishing. There's 105 anglers. There's always a shot. So,
I love the positivity, Andy. Andy's like, no matter what. Hey, everyone has
guys, I just want to break it to you. I am not taking Drew Cook in Group A.
Oh,
There's another guy who's sitting right below him in the percent ownership who has yet to win a blue trophy. And he always seems to be around in these big fish derbies. I'm going with the G-man himself, Gerald Swindell. He's gonna catch him. He always seems to show up in the top 10. Swindell. I'm throwing some northern swang on it, all right? Like, leave me alone. Let me have some fun for once in my life, Bailey. Come on.
Once in my life.
Once in my life. I'm sure all of your guide clients love hearing that.
Dude, are we giving some of these comments tonight? Dude, this David G-man looks hungrier than a horse in a no.
I feel like that's something he would say on the stage too.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That is something you would say.
Yeah, I'm
that's
thinking
good.
so.
I like it. Well, Deacon, you called it out as your wild card and totally ruined my pick.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm going with Brandon Cobb for this one. Obviously had that giant day on Okeechobee. Like Andy talked about with Swindle, where he just shows up in big fish events. I mean, when it's Lake Fork or Santee, the dude has just big days in the water. He knows where to find spawners. He can fish grass. He can fish shallow, especially when they're moving up like they are, as Wes explained earlier in the show. So I'm rocking with Mr. Brandon Cobb on this one.
I like it.
Heck yeah.
Surprised no one. Oh, no. Yeah. Boomer, you got Patty Walters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did. I want to know how come nobody picked Kennedy. What was the number one reason that the group didn't pick Kennedy?
I stay away from Kennedy in fantasy fishing because he freaking finishes 84th or he is in the top 30.
Dude, I hit the lottery. I pick him one time and he top 10s, and that's the last time I'm going to pick him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that was incredible. Well, allegedly picked him, Bailey.
The show has the proof. I said it in the show.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying it didn't show up on the points, but we get it. Yeah, like you picked.
Allegedly.
Bunch of bastards.
Allegedly. Bastards. So getting down the road, I think the first event that I will pick Kennedy possibly will be Lake in LA.
Why are you ruining your picks?
Because I'm just thinking about when I would pick him.
Dude, now Adam's gonna pick him. Come on.
Yeah,
I gotta put
There goes
I gotta put the egg. All right, like I have to make Adam think about it ahead of time.
There you go. There you go. Reverse psychology.
Yes.
You call
Got
it.
it.
All right, we're gonna poke some fun at our guest for today. Then the Deacon, I'm picking West Logan for St. Lawrence River. We're laying some eggs here.
I love it.
You're just being mean now.
Yeah, he'll enjoy it though. He knows we poke fun at it. All right, let's start to go around the room and pick our weights we think it's gonna take to win. Deacon, kick her off.
79-11.
Oh,
What I got.
She low.
Just looking at kind of past results, and I don't know, man. I feel like it's just so hard to see more than a 20-pound average in so many events throughout the year, unless it's one of those crazy lakes that are just full of megas. But that's where I'm at with it. I don't have too much rhyme or reason other than that.
I dig it. Brennan?
Yeah, I'm definitely a little north of that. I came in at 91.3, which is a 22.75 pound average, roughly. a day. So it's a little high, but we'll see what happens.
I can get with it. Andy?
Well, give me 1 second. I accidentally lost my screen, so I don't remember what my weight is. So give me
Uh-huh.
1
He's
second.
dividing his by 2 real fast.
No. I'm not that high.
112.
I got it. I have 88.15.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, Brennan, you thought you were going high. I'm going with 96. Was it 96.4?
All right, they're gonna smash him. All right.
Yeah, I won't lie. At first, I had 94 and change, and then I
So you
kind of
did change
dialed
it.
it back a little bit. No, not now. Before the show, when I picked most of my picks yesterday.
Boomer, what about you, man?
77.8.
77. You guys are some
Every
Debbie
time I
Downers
looked at a
in the
tournament around there, there's one day of death. I don't know if it's weather related, but it's like guys have 25, 22, 7. And then they still make the top 10. And then they catch 24. So I just figure.
Well,
bit
I
lower.
mean, Beyond the Wind is relatively consistent in regards to sunny, warm, and it just switches to go south, south, north, north for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
but
who won- hey, who
consistent
won last
daytime
week?
temps
Mm-hmm.
and nighttime temps, like stable weather. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's everything we need to have a solid event here.
It'll be interesting. That's for dang sure. But what was it with you West Coasters going so low for these events?
Just being
So-
realistic.
You're just anti-Bassmasters. They don't come
They're
out.
just trying to not be like Bart and take like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just scarred from that. Like whatever parts was, I would take like
30
15
pounds
pounds
less.
less, and I almost always got it.
You found the formula. You'd also
I
have
think
to.
it's. I'm sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
I just think it's because I'm a tournament angler and I always.
Damn.
I got interviewed by James Watson at the Saginaw Bay last year. He's like, "What do you think it's going to take to win?" And I said something like 12 pounds. I think it should take 12 pounds a day. And he like just put the mic down and said, "Turn the camera off. This guy doesn't know what he's doing." Like I think, yeah, I think I always pick a little bit lower because I'm hoping that nobody catches him as good. I don't know. So it's a tournament thing. I don't think. I hate picking big weights.
It's all mental.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Who won last week's though? Like it was right in the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
86 was what Tyler had, right? It was 86 something.
86. Yeah.
I had
Who won the
Somebody had
tiebreaker? Did they get extra points?
I had
Was it me?
88.9.
I had 87.13.
Yeah, we were all pretty close there.
I think
thought
I
so.
lost being too low because I think I had 84 something.
Still, I mean, that's within 2 pounds of it. Like that's
89.9 here.
I had 89.12. So yeah, I was probably the farthest.
Deacon won because I had 84.3. So Deacon won that one.
It's because he went last.
oh my gosh. Here we go.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think I went first on that.
He's like, I'm never coming back. I'm done.
Screw this show. We ruined fantasy fishing for DK. That's good stuff. Well, boys, any other comments, predictions, takeaways for this coming event on Lake Seminole?
Are we doing anything to drain the lake?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Good call.
I think it's going to be a really fun event to watch on live because I have a funny feeling there's going to be constant action of something going on. Grass fish, they seem to just bite in waves whenever they show up. And if that's what guys are going to do, just big sticks, braid, and a lot of noise and fun. I look forward to watching it.
Heck yeah. All right, let's
And-
go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Deke.
I was just gonna say one thing I just remembered takeaway from Okeechobee. Awesome day one coverage of the elite event. I struggle sometimes on those day ones on live because it's like, man, you don't know who's going to be doing good, right? And they're just going to pick guys that are local or some storyline behind them on that day one. But I mean, you had Scott Martin cracking them. You had some awesome angler footage on day one, which made it fun to watch. So kudos to Bassmaster, and I think
Oh,
part
heck
of that's
yeah.
lucky, but that was fun to watch.
For sure. We do have an update, by the way, from Keith Boshay. He's got the little boat.
Oh,
So the rumor is true. He probably did get stuck in some fence somewhere.
I love it, though. I'm here for it. That thing's awesome. All right, let's go around the horn and give your how many points and et cetera, like how you did last week on Drain the Lake. Just shoot off your points and then your percentile, and then give your picks for Seminole. Deacon, let her rock.
All right. I had 1,669 points, 94.1% pick on that. And Seminole, I've got Golden Ram, Clifford Perch, Drew Benton, Joey Cifuentes, Drew Cook, Buddy Gross, John Cox, John Cruz, and Kyle Welcher.
I like it. Brennan?
All right. We ended with 1,456 points, 66.7% overall. Not good. We're going with Drew Benton, Drew Cook, Bernie Schultz, who didn't get a whole lot of attention in this go-around, but he's got some success here. Caleb Kufal, also going Clifford Perch, Josh Douglas, grass expert, loves Florida, Mark Frazier, and Clint Davis, Alabama flipping guru. That's who we got.
I like it. Andy?
All right. So for Drain the Lake, I had 1,437, which put me at 61.8. For Seminole, my Drain the Lake, I have Benton, Cook, Mark Frazier, Micah, Keith Boshay, Holman, Cobb, and Gaston because of Boomer's little insight earlier. So I decided to throw him in there. Thank you.
I hope it works.
Well,
Me too,
mine
but-
will actually make Boomer happy because I had Gaston before he even said Gaston.
Hey.
So my Drain the Lake sucked. I had 1,315 points, 38.8%. I have for Seminole. I have Drew Benton, Scott Canterbury, Caleb Kufal, Brock Mosley, Drew Cook, Gaston Peraznik, and Mark Frazier. So that's kind of a stacked crew for that one. Boomer, finish us off.
I augured in, man. I had 23 percentile. I stunk. 1,073 points.
Boo.
I don't think I'm giving enough attention to this too, because I normally like spend a bunch of time on all the buckets, and then I come in here and pick a couple guys like I'm ordering pizza. You know, oh, quick. I picked Cifuentes, who I wanted to say I was really troubled and wish they didn't put him in Group A in this, on the other side of things. Cobb, Canterbury, Christie, and Boshay. If I bomb again, I'm just going to take the same picks from the normal and just put them in this one too. But
As long as you
Did
can
you,
pick.
did you get so little points, Boomer, because you can put 8 in this?
put 8.
Eight anglers. 8 anglers in Drain the Lake. Did you only have
No
4 or
way.
5? Yeah.
I like playing with Boomer. We should play with him.
Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have
Hey,
said
you want to play
it.
fantasy football?
You want to play fantasy
I
poker?
thought he was, dude. I thought he was short too, and he run him off. I'm sitting there like, is he talking?
You guys want to
about-
start betting money?
Oh, you
thought
want to
you
know the worst part? I had 8 guys and still sucked.
Oh, you
I'm
did.
going to go
Oh,
back
okay.
and pick a few more guys.
We'll make sure you pick 8 this time too.
That's way more
I'm telling
honorable, just so you know.
I don't know what's worse is picking like half the amount you need or not picking any at all.
Oh.
Man, I'm glad he said something. I'm glad that he took the opportunity to give me a hard time, because I would have just wrote it with the 5.
This is awesome.
Been all pissed off. I suck at the Drain the Lake.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, folks, I like how people are throwing their points in their percentages. Throw that in the chat. I like that. We should start doing that on fantasy shows, seeing how people are doing. I saw someone up here had a really good Doug Houts, man, 2,000 points in the 99 percentile.
There was more. There was more. than
There's,
that.
there's one in
22.
4th. Yes. I think T1D Steve is actually sitting in 4th in Draining the Lake currently.
Shoo.
That's awesome.
Damn, son. All right. We do. I think you can still join groups on Fantasy Fishing. If you guys, I think you can still join. If so, if you haven't joined our group, we have a link down in the show notes. If you guys do want to join the Serious Angler Podcast, Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing League, feel free to go and join that. But fellas, anything else to cap on Lake Seminole before we call this thing a night? No, going once, going twice.
I think this is going to be a good one that I have a feeling that this is going to be weird. Like, random people. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like if Swindle wins, and Andy picked him and he wins and he gets his first elite win, I'm done with fantasy fishing. Like, I think that'll be the end of it. But I feel like it's going to be that weird of a tournament. Like a lot of weird stuff. I mean, because it was where Latimer got his, right? I just think it's good, and they don't go there as often as I don't know. It's kind of a cool place too. So,
heck yeah. Will we see a dirty 30?
Ooh. I know Nick, by the way. What's up, Nick? I'm going to say no. I don't think so.
I say we see a 28.
I was going to say a 28 plus sounds more reasonable. 30 is hard for me to get behind, but could be.
Unless somebody finds like a magic pocket or like flat that's protected from wind and it's just loaded with megas on beds.
Big
Yeah,
fish.
I do a
What's
little-
big fish going to be?
9-4.
I'm
Yeah,
right.
I think bigger than Okeechobee. I almost want to say we might see a bigger one.
I was going to go like 9.7, 9.8. I was like 9.5.
Going to be right under 10 pounds.
here's a better question: the guy that catches the big fish, does he make top 10?
No.
No.
He doesn't have
Is
a
it-
limit.
Dude,
Are we going like Derek Hudnall at Cayuga when he caught that like
8.5?
pounder?
And only had 3 fish.
dude, that's what I mean. Doesn't happen. It happens rarely in elite events and stuff with guys that all know what they're doing. But in like club derbies or like a Bass Nation, like my gosh, someone always brings in like a 9-pounder and they have nothing, right? Like it's just like what?
Got 4 rats and a 9. Like how?
Yeah.
That's how
I mean-
Shasta gets one all the time. Somebody catches a
Right.
9 and then they catch 3 bass and win a 3-day tournament after that. 1 pounder and a half every day and still win.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I got a question for you guys before we call it a night. Sorry, Boomer, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish your
No.
point quick.
No, we're good. I was just gonna make fun of Deacon, I think.
Oh, man,
Deacon, I got 8.
Let's take it away.
Deacon, I got
Nice
8.
now?
I can have 8,
Proud of
right, buddy?
Just looking out for you. You might want to
Thanks,
keep
buddy.
making fun of me. Boomer.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so a big shout out to a buddy of ours, Nolan Miner, who at the Harris Chain last week for our kayak event in practice caught a 9.14. Would you guys be pumped to catch a 9.14 or pissed that it was 2 ounces off a 10?
Pumped and pissed. Can I be both?
I'd be pumped. I'd be more upset though that it was in practice. That would piss me off actually.
He caught it off a bed that was about to get 30-mile-an-hour straight winds all day long on it. So that's why he's like, screw it, I'm going to catch a big one.
Good for him. I think I would have still held off. I would have been like nervous.
Yeah, I would have went up the next day and like let it get dirty and just drag like a 1/4 ounce freaking baby brush hog for 3 hours straight and hope you come over the bed and get her to bite then. But I'd still be jacked about the 9.14. I wouldn't care.
See, I'd be pissed. I don't know. Maybe it's my
Yeah,
OCD. Be like, it's not 10.
That's
but
a
there's
giant dude.
2 ounces away. But yeah, either way, super cool deal. But fellas, as always, appreciate you guys making time for the Fantasy Fishing Show, and big shout out to everybody that tuned in live tonight. There are a lot of comments, crazy amount of engagement. Appreciate y'all. It was a super fun show as always. Big shout out to Mr. Wes Logan, who joined us during his practice hours to give you guys the inside scoop. That's a cool part to the show that we have this year, and he'll be on as long as he has signal, of course, the duration of the season. So cool stuff. And fellas, anything else before we close this deal?
No, I think the next time we'll see everyone is for the classic.
Oh, I think so. I think you're right. Hold
Yeah.
on, let me pull that up. I think
Like
it-
March
back-to-back weeks
24th,
like
I
this.
think. Yeah. There's quite the break.
the
know-
next.
Can I go on a rant real fast? Why does Bassmaster do this to us? It's like back-to-back 5 weeks. Back-to-back 5
For the
weeks.
anglers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it easy for them.
I know.
And he's like, screw the guys, fantasy fishing.
Like, I want you to go from California to Texas and then back to California.
Yeah.
Yes.
None of those guys do that anyway. Like they all
Yeah.
fly.
Right.
It'd kill you if you had to go back and forth. That's why there's
Mhm.
one angler from Idaho and one angler from California, and neither one of them will be driving home until the season's over. So it is, if you did, you'd quit the sport. It's too depressing.
Yeah, so the next time you guys will see us, the next Monday Night Live Fantasy Fishing Show will be March 20th, and that'll be for the Bassmaster Classic. And for people that are attending, we will be present. Deacon and I will be there. So if you guys see us around, we might have some merch. We might not. You never know. But come say hello. Boomer, Brennan, are you guys both going to be at the Classic?
I'm undecided, but if you see me there, say hi, punch me in the back of the head, do whatever.
Deal.
Fire away, guys.
Yeah,
Fire away.
beat the hell out of me. Yeah.
I may not be able to be part of that show. I'll be on my way to Knoxville, Tennessee that day. Let me see. I'm looking right now.
Yeah,
If I'm able to jump on that show, I think I'm on an airplane at the.
We'll pay for your Wi-Fi to jump in on the airplane.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I could do it on the airplane.
That'd be hilarious.
It's like people are like trying to sleep, and Boomer's like, "You guys have no idea how important fantasy fishing is."
Could you shut that kid up? I'm trying to listen. Shut that kid up.
He's like sitting there on the plane, everyone's sleeping. He's Brian Smith.
It's not even in the Classic.
It's not even think about that. He's not in the Classic. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, my girls, they love him. Like traveling with him, he's become a real close member of the family, and they're so ruthless to him. And they told him last tournament, "Hey, try not to suck." That's
awesome.
That's poor guy. I feel bad for the guy. He needs better friends.
Well, Boomer, if you're not able to make that show, we'll figure something out. Regardless, folks, we appreciate y'all. Well,
That's my language now. You're doing good.
Oh yeah. All right, folks. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.